Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Defiance, looking out at the stars. The ship was quiet, except for the soft hum of the engines. It had been 3 months since humans first met the aliens called Cypherians. Those 3 months had changed everything. Jake was 45 years old and had been in space for 20 years. He had seen many things, but nothing like this. The Zephyrians were not friendly. They wanted Earth to surrender. They said humans were too weak to rule themselves. "Captain," said Commander Lisa Grant, walking up to him. Lisa was his second in command. She was smart and always thought ahead. "We're getting something on the long-range sensors." Jake turned to look at her. Lisa's face was serious. This was not good news. "What kind of something?" Jake asked. "A big something." "Really big." Lisa handed him a datapad. "Take a look." Jake looked at the screen. The numbers made his heart race. 10,000 ships. 10,000 alien warships heading toward Earth. The biggest fleet anyone had ever seen. "How long do we have?" Jake asked. 72 hours, Lisa said. "Maybe less." Jake felt the weight of the moment. The USS Defiance was alone out here. They were the only human ship between the alien fleet and Earth. Earth had other ships, but they were too far away. By the time they got here, it would be too late. "Get everyone to the meeting room," Jake said. "Right now." Lisa nodded and pressed a button on her wrist. All senior officers to the briefing room. Emergency meeting. Jake walked to the meeting room. His mind was racing. 10,000 ships. How could one ship fight 10,000? It seemed impossible, but running away was not an option. If they ran, the aliens would reach Earth. Millions of people would die. The other officers came into the room. There was Bobby Taylor, the chief engineer. Bobby was 34 and could fix anything. He was always working on new ideas to make the ship better. There was Lieutenant Kyle Brooks, the weapons officer. Kyle was 29 and the best shot in the fleet. There was Dr. Helen Carter, the medical officer. Helen was 42 and knew more about aliens than anyone. "Sit down," Jake said. "We have a problem." He put the data pad on the table. The screen showed the alien fleet moving toward Earth. 10,000 ships, Jake said. "All of them armed?" "All of them coming here." Bobby whistled. "That's a lot of ships." "Too many," Kyle said. "We can't fight all of them." "We have to try." Jake said, "We're the only ones who can stop them." Dr. Carter looked at the data. "What do we know about their commander?" "Supreme Commander Vextar," Lisa said. "He's their best general. He's never lost a battle." "Well," Jake said, "there's a first time for everything." The room was quiet. Everyone was thinking about the same thing. One ship against 10,000. It was crazy. "Captain," Bobby said, "I've been working on some new things. Things that might help." "What kind of things?" Jake asked. Bobby smiled. "Secret things. Things that might surprise our alien friends." Jake knew Bobby was always building something new. Maybe those secret projects would help. Maybe they would make the difference. "Kyle," Jake said, "how are our weapons?" "Ready, sir," Kyle said. "All weapons are working perfectly." "But, sir, even if every shot hits, we don't have enough ammunition for 10,000 ships." "Then we'll have to make every shot count," Jake said. Dr. Carter spoke up. "I've been studying the alien technology we captured before. I found some interesting things." "What kind of things?" Jake asked. "Weaknesses," Helen said. "Their ships are strong, but they have weak points. If we hit them in the right place, we can do a lot of damage." Jake felt a little hope. Maybe they had a chance after all. "Lisa," Jake said, "what's your plan?" Lisa had been thinking, "We can't fight them all at once. We need to be smart, hit and run. Use the asteroids for cover. Make them come to us, That's good, Jake said. But we need more than that. I have an idea, Bobby said. What if we make them think we're not there? What do you mean? Jake asked. I've been working on something, Bobby said. A way to hide the ship. Make it invisible. Jake stared at him. Invisible? Not really invisible, Bobby said, but invisible to their sensors. They won't be able to see us coming. This was new. Jake had never heard of such a thing. Does it work? Jake asked. I think so, Bobby said, but we've never tested it in a real battle. Jake thought about it. They were going to die anyway if they fought normally. Maybe Bobby's invention would help. Okay, Jake said. We'll try it. What else do we have? I've been looking at their battle plans, Lisa said. They always fight the same way. Big formations. Lots of ships together. They don't expect anyone to be creative. Creative is what we do best, Jake said. The meeting went on for 2 hours. They made plans. They talked about tactics. They prepared for the impossible. When the meeting ended, Jake stayed behind. He looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, 10,000 alien ships were coming. In 3 days, they would be here. Jake thought about his life. He thought about Earth. He thought about all the people who would die if he failed. He could not fail. He would not fail. Lisa came back into the room. Jake, she said, are you okay? I'm fine, Jake said. Just thinking. About what? About home, Jake said. About why we're doing this. Lisa sat down next to him. We're going to win, she said. How do you know? Jake asked. Because we're human, Lisa said. We don't give up, Jake smiled. Lisa was right. Humans never gave up. They would fight until the end. Get some rest, Jake said. Tomorrow we start preparing for the biggest battle in human history. Lisa nodded and left. Jake stayed and looked at the stars. In 72 hours, everything would change. Either humanity would win, or humanity would lose everything. But Jake Morrison was not going to let that happen. Not today. Not ever. The USS Defiance moved through space toward the asteroid belt. Captain Jake Morrison sat in his chair, watching the screens. The alien fleet was close now. Very close. Captain, said Lieutenant Kyle Brooks, I'm seeing them on sensors. Jake looked. At the main screen, there they were. 10,000 ships spread across space like a dark cloud. They were huge. Each ship was 3 tons bigger than the USS Defiance. Together, they looked like they could destroy anything. My God, whispered Dr. Helen Carter. There are so many of them. Stay calm, Jake said. We knew this was coming. Commander Lisa Grant was studying the enemy formation. They're arranged in a standard attack pattern. Very organized. Very predictable. That's good for us, Jake said. Predictable enemies are easier to fight. Bobby Taylor was working at his station. Captain, the cloaking device is ready. We can disappear whenever you want. Not yet, Jake said. Let them see us first. Let them get comfortable. The alien fleet was getting closer. Jake could see the individual ships now. They were dark and scary looking, built for war. Captain, said the communications officer, we're getting a message from the alien fleet. Put it on screen. Jake said. The screen changed. A face appeared. It was not human. The alien had gray skin and large black eyes. This was Supreme Commander Vextar. Human ship, the alien said. His voice was cold and mean. I am Supreme Commander Vextar of the Zephyrian Empire. You will surrender now. Jake stood up. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the USS Defiance. We will not surrender. Vextar laughed. It was an ugly sound. You are one ship. I have 10,000. You cannot win. We'll see about that, Jake said. You are stupid, Vextar said. Your species is weak. You will all die today. Maybe, Jake said, but we won't go quietly. Vexstar looked angry. You have 1 minute to surrender. After that, I will destroy you. Go ahead and try, Jake said. The screen went dark. Vexstar was gone. Well, said Lisa, that went well. Jake sat back down. Bobby, start the cloaking device. Kyle, get ready with weapons. Everyone else, hold on tight. The USS Defiance began to fade from the alien sensors. One moment they could see it, the next moment it was gone. On the alien flagship, Vexstar was angry. Where did they go? He shouted. Unknown, sir, said his officer. They just disappeared. Ships don't just disappear, Vexstar said. Find them. But the alien sensors could not find the USS Defiance. It was like the ship had never existed. Jake was happy. Bobby's invention was working. Good job, Bobby. We're invisible. For now, Bobby said. But the cloaking device uses a lot of power. We can't stay hidden forever. We don't need forever. Jake said, just long enough to surprise them. The USS Defiance moved through the asteroid belt. The big rocks would give them cover. They could hide behind them and attack when the aliens didn't expect it. Lisa, Jake said, where should we hit them first? Lisa was studying the alien formation. The command ships are in the middle. But they're protected by thousands of other ships. We can't reach them. What about the edges? Jake asked. The scout ships are on the edges. They're smaller and faster. But if we destroy them, the main fleet will know we're here. Jake thought about it. Let's start with the scouts. We need to test our weapons anyway. The USS Defiance moved closer to the alien fleet. The scouts were spread out, looking for them. But they couldn't see the human ship. Kyle, Jake said, pick a target. Kyle looked at his weapon screen. I see one. It's alone, about 2 miles from the others. Take the shot, Jake said. Kyle pressed the button. A beam of energy shot from the USS Defiance. It hit the alien scout ship. The ship exploded in a ball of fire. Direct hit, Kyle said. Target destroyed. The other alien ships saw the explosion. They started looking around, trying to find the attacker, but they saw nothing. Vexstar to all ships, came the voice over the radio. Find that human ship. Find it now. But the aliens couldn't find anything. The USS Defiance was still invisible. Jake smiled. Good shot, Kyle. Pick another target. For the next hour, the USS Defiance hunted the alien scouts. One by one, they destroyed them. The aliens were getting scared. Ships were exploding all around them, but they couldn't see who was shooting. Sir, said an alien officer to Vexstar, we've lost 30 scout ships. The humans are picking us off one by one. Vexstar was furious. How can one ship destroy 30 of ours? I don't know, sir. We can't see them. Then send more ships. Send 100 ships. Find them, the alien. Fleet began to spread out. They were looking everywhere for the USS Defiance. But spreading out made them weaker. Now Jake could attack bigger groups. Lisa, Jake said, they're spreading out. This is our chance. I see it, Lisa said. There's a group of 50 ships about. 5 miles away. They're alone. Kyle, Jake said, can you hit all 50? Kyle checked his weapons. If I use the quantum torpedoes, yes. But we only have a few of those. Do it, Jake said. Kyle launched the quantum torpedoes. They were Bobby's special invention. Each torpedo could split into smaller pieces. 1 torpedo became 10. 10 became 50. The torpedoes hit the alien ships. All 50 ships exploded at the same time. It was like fireworks in space, not the alien. Fleet was in chaos. They had lost 80 ships and still couldn't find the human ship. This is impossible, Vexstar said. One ship cannot do this. But sir, said his officer, it's happening. Vexstar was getting desperate. All ships, form a tight formation. Stay together. Don't spread out. The alien ships moved closer together. This made them safer, but it also made them slower. Jake saw what they were doing. They're bunching up. That's good for us. Why? Asked Dr. Carter. Because now they can't move fast, Jake said. They're like sitting ducks. The USS Defiance moved to a new position. The asteroids gave them perfect cover. They could attack and then hide behind the big rocks. Kyle, Jake said, see that group of 100 ships? Yes, sir. Hit them with everything we have. Kyle fired all weapons at once. Laser beams, plasma cannons, and quantum torpedoes all hit the alien ships. 20 ships exploded, then 30, then 50. The alien fleet was taking heavy damage, but they still couldn't fight back because they couldn't see their enemy. Captain, said Lisa, we've destroyed over 200 ships. They're starting to panic. Jake could see it too. The alien ships were flying around randomly. They didn't know what to do. Sir, said the alien officer to Vexstar, our ships are requesting permission to retreat. No, Vexstar shouted. We do not retreat from humans. We are the mighty Zephyrian Empire. But his ships were scared. They had never faced an enemy like this. An enemy they couldn't see. An enemy that struck without warning. The USS Defiance continued its attacks. They hit the aliens from different directions. Sometimes from the left, sometimes from the right. Sometimes from above, sometimes from below. The aliens tried to follow the attacks, but the USS Defiance was too fast. By the time they turned to, look, the human ship was gone. Bobby? Jake said. How's the cloaking device? Still working, Bobby said. But we're using a lot of power. We need to finish this soon. Jake nodded. They had done well so far. But the real battle was just beginning. The aliens were getting angry. And angry enemies were dangerous enemies. Lisa, Jake said, what's our next move? Lisa studied the alien formation. They're trying to protect their command ships. All the big ships are in the middle. The smaller ships are around them like a wall. Then we'll have to break through that wall, Jake said. That's going to be hard, Lisa said. There are thousands of ships in that wall. Jake looked at the screen. The alien fleet was huge, but they had come this far. They couldn't give up now. We're not giving up, Jake said. We're just getting started. The USS Defiance moved through space like a ghost. Captain Jake Morrison watched as his ship got closer to the main alien fleet. They had destroyed over 500 enemy ships, but there were still thousands left. Bobby, Jake said, show me. What else you've been working on? Bobby Taylor smiled. He had been waiting for this moment. Captain, remember those quantum torpedoes? Well, I made them better. Better how? Jake asked. Each torpedo can now split into 20 pieces instead of 10. And each piece can think for itself. It will find the weakest part of an enemy ship and hit it there. Jake stared at him. You made smart torpedoes? Very smart, Bobby said. They learn from each attack. The more we use them, the better they get. Commander Lisa Grant was listening. How many do we have? 50, Bobby said. But that's enough. Each one can destroy multiple ships. Jake felt hope growing in his chest. Maybe they really could win this fight. Kyle, Jake said, are you ready? To test these new torpedoes? Lieutenant Kyle Brooks checked his weapons. Ready, sir? I see a group of 200 alien ships. They're in a tight formation. Perfect, Jake said. Fire 3 torpedoes. Kyle pressed the button. 3 torpedoes shot out from the USS Defiance. As they flew toward the alien ships, each torpedo split into 20 pieces. 60 smart weapons flew at the enemy. The alien ships tried to shoot down. The torpedoes But the small weapons were too fast and too smart. They dodged the alien fire and hit their targets. 60 alien ships exploded. The other ships in the group were damaged by the explosions. Many of them were destroyed too. "My God," whispered Dr. Helen Carter. "We just destroyed almost 200 ships with 3 torpedoes." On the alien flagship, Supreme Commander Vexstar was watching his fleet get destroyed. "How are they doing this?" he shouted. "Sir," said his officer, "their weapons are unlike anything we've seen. They seem to be learning from our defenses." "That's impossible," Vexstar said. "Weapons don't learn. Human weapons do, sir." Vexstar felt something he had never felt before. Fear, real fear. How could one ship be destroying his mighty fleet? The USS Defiance continued its attack. They used the asteroids as cover, appearing and disappearing like magic. Each time they appeared, more alien ships died. "Captain," said Lisa, "I'm seeing something interesting. The aliens are starting to make mistakes." "What kind of mistakes?" Jake asked. "They're getting scared. When ships get scared, they don't think clearly. Look at this group here. They're bunched up too tight. If we hit them right, we can cause a chain reaction." Jake looked at the screen. Lisa was right. The alien ships were so close together that if one exploded, it would damage the others. "Kyle," Jake said, "see that group of 300 ships?" "Yes." "Sir, hit the one in the middle. Use 1 torpedo." Kyle fired. The torpedo split into 20 pieces, but they all hit the same ship. The ship exploded in a huge ball of fire. The explosion was so big that it damaged all the ships around it. Those ships exploded too. The explosions spread through the group. Like fire dot in 30 seconds, all 300 ships were destroyed. "Incredible," said Dr. Carter. "We destroyed 300 ships with 1 torpedo." The alien fleet was in panic now. They had lost over 1,000 ships and still couldn't see their enemy clearly. "Sir," said the alien officer to Vexstar, "the fleet is requesting permission to retreat." "No!" Vexstar screamed. "We will not be." Defeated by 1 human ship. But his ships were already starting to retreat. They were too scared to fight. "All ships, this is Supreme Commander Vexstar," he said over the radio. "Any ship that retreats will be destroyed by me personally. We fight. To the death." The alien ships stopped retreating. They were more scared of Vexstar than they were of the humans. Jake saw what was happening. They're regrouping. Vexstar is keeping them together by fear. "That's good and bad," Lisa said. "Good because they're bunched up. Bad because they're not going to run away." Jake thought about it. "Dr. Carter, what did you learn about their psychology?" Helen had been studying the aliens for months. They're hive-minded. They all think the same way. They follow orders without question. But they're not creative. They can't adapt to new situations. "What does that mean for us?" Jake asked. "It means they'll keep using the same tactics even when those tactics don't work. They can't change." Jake smiled. "Then we'll keep changing. Bobby, what else do you have?" Bobby had been working on his computer. "I've been analyzing their ship designs. Dr. Carter was right. They have weak points. But I found something even better." "What?" Jake asked. "Their ships are all connected by communication signals. If we can hack into those signals, we can confuse their computers." "Can you do that?" Jake asked. "Already done," Bobby said. "I've been listening to their communications for the past hour. I know how their systems work." Jake felt excitement building. "What can you do?" "I can make their ships think they're getting orders from their commanders. I can make them turn on each other. I can make them fly into asteroids. I can make them do anything I want." This was better than Jake had hoped. "Do it." Bobby's fingers flew over his keyboard. He sent false signals. to the alien ships. Suddenly, a group of 50 alien ships turned and started firing at another group of 50 alien ships. "What are they doing?" asked Kyle. "They think the other ships are enemies," Bobby said. "Their computers are confused." The two groups of alien ships fought each other. They destroyed each other while the USS Defiance watched. "This is amazing," said Lisa. "They're destroying themselves." Bobby sent more false signals. More groups of alien ships turned on each other. The alien fleet was fighting itself. On the alien flagship, Vexstar was screaming, "Stop fighting each other! The humans are the enemy." But his ships couldn't hear him. Bobby was jamming their communications. All they could hear were the false orders he was sending. "Sir," said the alien officer, "we've lost control of the fleet. The ships are fighting each other." "Fix it," Vexstar shouted. "We can't, sir. The humans have taken control of our communication systems." Vexstar could not believe what he was hearing. One human ship had taken control of his entire fleet, the USS. Defiance watched as the alien ships destroyed each other. In 1 hour, they destroyed more of their own ships than the humans had destroyed all day. "Captain," said Dr. Carter, "we need to be careful. If they figure out what we're doing, they might find a way to stop us." Jake nodded. "Bobby, can they break your control?" "They're trying," Bobby said. "But human computers are more advanced than theirs. We're about 50 years ahead of them in technology." "How long can you keep control?" Jake asked. "Maybe another hour. Then they'll adapt and break free." Jake thought quickly. "In 1 hour, how many ships can we make them destroy?" "All of them," Bobby said, "if we're smart about it." Jake made his decision. Do it. Make them destroy each other. Bobby worked his magic. He sent signals that made the alien ships fly into each other. He made them crash into asteroids. He made them fire at their own command ships. The alien fleet was destroying itself. Vexstar could only watch as his mighty armada fell apart. "This is impossible," he said. "This cannot be happening." But it was happening. The USS Defiance had turned the alien fleet against itself. In 2 hours, they had destroyed almost half of the 10,000 ships. "Captain," said Lisa, "we're winning. We're actually winning." Jake allowed himself a small smile. "We're not done yet. There are still 5,000 ships left." "But sir," said Kyle, "they're confused and scared. They don't know what to do." "That's when enemies are most dangerous," Jake said. "When they have nothing left to lose." As if he had heard Jake's words, Vexstar made a desperate decision. He turned off all communication systems on his ships. If the humans couldn't send signals, they couldn't control the ships. "Sir," said Bobby, "I'm losing control. They've cut their communications." "Can you get them back?" Jake asked. "No, sir. They're completely isolated now. No signals in or out." Jake saw the alien ships regrouping. They were no longer fighting each other. They were forming a new battle formation. "They're adapting, Lisa." "Sighed. They're learning." "Good," Jake said. "Now we'll see what they're really made of." The real battle was about to begin. The USS Defiance faced 5,000 alien ships. Half of the original fleet was gone, destroyed by their own confusion and the clever tricks of the human crew. But the remaining ships were angry now. Very angry. Supreme Commander Vexstar had learned from his mistakes. He had cut all communications between his ships. Now the humans could not confuse them anymore. His ships flew in tight formations, following simple visual signals. "Captain," said Commander Lisa Grant, "they're not making the same mistakes anymore." Captain Jake smiled for the first time in days. "Then let's finish this." The USS Defiance moved through the field of trapped alien ships. It was like flying through a museum. The ships hung in space, barely moving, like frozen statues. "Captain," said Kyle, I count 4,000 ships left. All of them are trapped in the field. Good, Jake said. Start with the outer ships. Work your way toward the center. Kyle began the methodical destruction of the alien fleet. Each shot was perfect. The trapped ships could not dodge or defend themselves. On the alien flagship, Vexstar watched his fleet die in slow motion. It took forever for each ship to explode. The light from the explosions moved slowly, like thick honey. He had never felt so helpless. His mighty fleet, the pride of the Zephyrian Empire, was being destroyed by one human ship. It was the most humiliating defeat in the history of his people. Sir, his officer said in slow motion, we need to surrender. Vexstar wanted to refuse, but he knew the officer was right. They had lost. There was no shame in admitting defeat when the enemy had proven to be superior. Captain, said Dr. Carter, I'm detecting a surrender signal from the alien flagship. Jake looked at the screen. The alien flagship was flashing its lights in a pattern that meant surrender in the universal language of space. Kyle, Jake said, stop firing. They're surrendering. Kyle stopped his attack. Sir, there are still 3,000 ships left. I know, Jake said, but if their commander surrenders, the rest will follow. Jake was right. As soon as the flagship surrendered, the other alien ships began sending surrender signals too. The entire fleet was giving up. Bobby, Jake said, can you release them from the time field? Yes, sir, Bobby said, but we should be careful. Some of them might try to fight when they're free. Release them slowly, Jake said, one group at a time. Bobby adjusted the field generator. The first group of alien ships returned to normal time. They immediately sent surrender signals. Group by group, the alien fleet was released from the time field. None of them tried to fight. They were all too scared and amazed by what the humans had done. Captain, said Lisa, we did it. We actually did it. Jake looked around at his crew. They were tired but proud. They had saved Earth and humanity. Yes, Jake said, we did it. But now comes the hard part. What's that? Asked Dr. Carter. Making peace, Jake said. Winning the war was easy compared to what comes next. The USS Defiance had won the greatest victory in human history. One ship had defeated 10,000. But Jake knew this was just the beginning. Now they had to build a future where humans and aliens could live in peace. As the surrender of the alien fleet was completed, Jake thought about the long road ahead. There would be negotiations, treaties, and the challenge of two very different species learning to understand each other. But for now, Earth was safe. Humanity would survive. And the galaxy would never underestimate humans again. Morrison nodded. Vexstar is smarter than we thought. He's adapting. The alien ships began to move toward the USS Defiance. They were not spreading out this time. They stayed together in groups of 500 ships each. 10 groups, all moving in different directions. They're trying to surround us, said Lieutenant Kyle Brooks. Let them come, Jake said. Bobby, how's our cloaking device? Bobby Taylor checked his systems. Running low on power, Captain. We can stay invisible for maybe 30 more minutes. That's not enough, Jake said. We need more time. I have an idea, said Dr. Helen Carter. What if we don't try to stay invisible? What if we become visible but make them think there are more of us? Jake looked at her. What do you mean? I've been studying their sensor systems. They're very simple. If we create false signals, we can make them think there are multiple human ships instead of just one. Bobby's eyes lit up. I can do that. I can make fake sensor readings. Make them think there are 10 of us, or 20, or 100. Do it, Jake said. Bobby worked quickly. He created false signals that made the USS Defiance look like a whole fleet of ships. On the alien sensors, one human ship became 50 human ships. The alien flagship, Vextar, stared at his screens. "What is this? Where did all these human ships come from?" "I don't know, sir," said his officer. "They just appeared. There are 50 of them now." Vextar felt panic rising in his chest. If there were 50 human ships, his fleet was doomed. One human ship had already destroyed half his fleet. 50 would destroy everything. "This is a trick," Vextar said. "It has to be a trick." "Sir," said his officer, "our sensors say there are 50 ships. Each one is firing at us." It was true. The fake ships were all firing at the alien fleet. Bobby had programmed them to copy everything the real USS Defiance did. The alien ships didn't know which human ship was real. They fired at all of them, but their weapons passed right through the fake ships. "Captain," said Kyle, "they're shooting at ghosts." "They're wasting their ammunition." "Good," Jake said. "Let them waste it." "Kyle, start picking off the ships on the edges." Kyle began firing at the alien ships. Each shot destroyed an enemy vessel. But the aliens thought they were being attacked by 50 ships, not one. "We're taking heavy casualties," the alien officer reported to Vextar. "The humans are everywhere." "Focus fire on one of them," Vextar ordered. "All ships, focus on the lead human ship." 500 alien ships turned their weapons on what they thought was the lead human ship. They fired everything they had. But it was one of the fake ships. Their weapons hit nothing. "Direct hit," the alien officer said. "But sir, the ship is still there." "That's impossible," Vextar said. "Nothing can survive that much firepower." Jake watched as the aliens wasted their ammunition on fake targets. "They're getting frustrated. That's good for us." "Captain," said Lisa, "they're starting to break formation. Some ships are charging at us." A group of 200 alien ships broke away from the main fleet. They flew straight at the USS Defiance, firing as they came. "They're trying kamikaze attacks," Jake said. "They're getting desperate." "Kyle," Jake said, "take out those charging ships." Kyle fired the smart torpedoes. Each torpedo split into 20 pieces and found its target. The charging alien ships exploded one by one, but more ships were charging. The aliens were willing to die if it meant destroying the humans. "Captain," said Bobby, "they're overwhelming us. There are too many of them." Jake saw the problem. Even with all their tricks, the aliens still had thousands of ships. Eventually, some of them would get through. "We need something bigger," Jake said. "Something that can stop all of them at once." "I have something," Bobby said quietly. "But it's dangerous. Very dangerous." "What is it?" Jake asked. "A quantum field generator. It can create a space-time bubble around us. Anything inside the bubble will be trapped in slow time." Jake stared at him. "You built a time machine?" "Not exactly," Bobby said. "More like a time prison. We can trap their ships in slow time while we stay in normal time. To us, they'll be moving like statues." "What's the danger?" Jake asked. "If the field fails, we'll be trapped in slow time instead of them. We'll be sitting ducks." Jake thought about it. They were running out of options. The aliens were getting closer, and there were still thousands of them. "How many ships can you trap?" Jake asked. "All of them," Bobby said. "The field can cover the entire alien fleet." Jake made his decision. Do it. Bobby activated the quantum field generator. The USS Defiance began to glow with strange energy. The energy spread out in all directions, creating a huge bubble in space that the alien ships that entered the bubble suddenly slowed down. They were still moving, but very slowly. A ship that was flying fast was now crawling through space. "It's working," Bobby said. "They're trapped in slow time." Jake watched as the alien fleet entered the bubble. Ship after ship slowed down until they were barely moving. "Kyle," Jake said. "Now we can take our time. Pick them off one by one." Kyle began firing at the trapped ships. They were easy targets now. They couldn't move fast enough to dodge. On the alien flagship, Vexstar was experiencing the horror of slow time. Everything around him was moving slowly. His officers were talking, but their words came out so slowly that he could barely understand them. "What is happening?" his officer said in slow motion. Vexstar tried to give orders, but his own voice was slow too. The humans had trapped them in some kind of time field. He watched through his window. As human weapons slowly approached his ships, the ships tried to move, but they were too slow. One by one, they were destroyed. This is impossible, Vexstar thought. Humans cannot control time, but they were controlling time. The USS Defiance moved through the field of slow alien ships like a shark through a school of fish. "Captain," said Dr. Carter, "we're winning. We're actually winning." Jake could see it too. The alien fleet was helpless. They could not escape the time field. They could not fight back effectively. "How long can we keep this up?" Jake asked Bobby. "The field, Gene." The USS Defiance floated in space, surrounded by the wreckage of the alien fleet. Captain Jake Morrison stood on his bridge, looking at the surrendered ships. 3,000 alien vessels hung in space with their weapons powered down and there. Lights flashing surrender signals. 7,000 ships had been destroyed. The space around them was full of floating metal and debris. It was the largest space battle in history, and humanity had won. "Captain," said Commander Lisa Grant, "we're receiving a personal message from Supreme Commander Vexstar." "Put it on." "Screen," Jake said. The alien commander appeared on the screen. He looked different now. The arrogance was gone. In its place was something Jake had never seen in an alien before. Respect. "Captain Morrison," Vexstar said slowly, "I request permission to come aboard your ship." Jake was surprised. "Why?" "Because I must see with my own eyes the ship that defeated my entire fleet. I must understand how this was possible." Jake thought about it. "Very well. You may come aboard, but you come alone and unarmed." "Agreed." Vexstar said. An hour later, Vexstar stood on the bridge of the USS Defiance. He was tall and thin, with gray skin and large black eyes. He looked around at the human technology with wonder. "Your ship is smaller than my flagship," Vexstar said. "How did you defeat 10,000 of my ships?" "We used our brains," Jake said simply. Vexstar walked around the bridge, studying everything. "Your technology is different from ours. More advanced in some ways." "In many ways," said Bobby Taylor proudly. Vexstar looked at Bobby. "You are the one who built the invisible device." "The cloaking system, yes," Bobby said. "And the quantum field generator. And the smart torpedoes." "Impossible," Vexstar said. "One person cannot build all those things." "Human engineers are very creative," Dr. Helen Carter said. "We solve problems in ways that others don't think of." Vexstar studied Dr. Carter. "You are the one who found our weaknesses?" "I studied your technology and your psychology," Helen said. "I learned how your people think and fight." "And you used that knowledge against us," Vexstar said. "We defended ourselves," Jake said. "You came here to destroy us. We had no choice." Vexstar was quiet for a long moment. "You are right. We came here believing humans were weak. We were wrong." "Very wrong," said Lieutenant Kyle Brooks. Vexstar looked at Kyle. "You are the warrior who fired the weapons?" "I am," Kyle said. "You destroyed 7,000 ships," Vexstar said. "That is more than any warrior in our history." Kyle shrugged. "I had good weapons and good targets." Vexstar turned back to Jake. "Captain Morrison, I have a question." "Ask it," Jake said. "Why did you not destroy us all? When you had us trapped in your time field, You could have killed every one of us. Why did you show mercy? Jake thought about the question. Because killing should only be done when necessary. You surrendered. The war was over. In our culture, Vexstar said, the winner destroys the loser completely. It is our way. It's not our way, Jake said. We believe in second chances. Vexstar stared at him. You could have wiped out the entire Zephyrian fleet. But you chose to spare us. That's right, Jake said. Why? Vexstar asked. Because we're not monsters, Dr. Carter said. We fight when we have to, but we don't enjoy killing. Vexstar was quiet again. Finally, he spoke. Captain Morrison, I formally surrender the Zephyrian fleet to you. We accept defeat. I accept your surrender, Jake said, but I want to offer you something more than defeat. What? Vexstar asked. Peace, Jake said. An alliance between our species. Vexstar looked shocked. You want to be allies with the people who tried to destroy you? We want to be allies with the people who are smart enough to learn from their mistakes, Jake said. I don't understand. Vexstar said. Lisa stepped forward. Captain Morrison is offering your people a chance to join us as partners instead of enemies. To share technology and knowledge. To explore the galaxy together. Vexstar stared at them all. This is ... unprecedented. No species has ever offered alliance after victory. Humans are not like other species, Jake said. Vexstar walked to the window and looked out at his surrendered fleet. My people will not understand this. They will think I have gone mad. Then help us show them a better way, Jake said. For a long time, Vexstar said nothing. He just stared out at the stars. Captain Morrison, he said finally, you have given me much to think about. I will return to my ship now. I need to contact my government. Of course, Jake said. Take all the time you need. After Vexstar left, the crew of the USS Defiance gathered on the bridge. Do you think he'll agree to the alliance? Lisa asked. I don't know, Jake said, but we had to try. Fighting wars is easy. Making peace is hard. Captain, said Bobby, we're getting a message from Earth. They want to know what happened. Jake smiled. Tell them we won. Tell them Earth is safe. What? About the alien fleet? Kyle asked. Tell them we made some new friends, Jake said. Over the next few days, messages flew back and forth between the USS Defiance, Earth, and the Zephyrian home world. The alien government was shocked by their fleet's defeat. They were even more shocked by the human offer of alliance. On the third day, Vexstar returned to the USS Defiance. Captain Morrison, he said, I have spoken with my government. They have authorized me to negotiate a peace treaty. Jake felt relief wash over him. That's wonderful news. But they have one condition, Vexstar said. What's that? Jake asked. They want to know how one human ship defeated 10,000 of ours. They want to understand your technology and your tactics. Jake looked at his crew. They all nodded. Very. Well, Jake said, we'll share our knowledge with you. But you must share yours with us, too. Agreed, Vexstar said. And so began the first alliance between humans and aliens. It started with a battle, but it grew into something much more important. Friendship. The USS Defiance returned to Earth as heroes. Captain Jake Morrison and his crew were celebrated around the world. But Jake knew the real victory was not the battle they had won. The real victory was the peace they had built, years later. When people asked Jake how one ship had defeated 10,000, he would always give the same answer. We didn't defeat them with our weapons. We defeated them with our humanity. And then we won them over with our hearts. The story of the USS Defiance became legend throughout the galaxy. It was the story of how humanity announced itself to the universe. Not as conquerors, but as defenders. Not as destroyers, but as builders of peace. And whenever alien species heard the story, they understood one important truth. Humans were not to be underestimated, not because they were violent, but because they were capable of incredible things. When they worked together, the galaxy was a better place because of what happened that day. And it all started with one ship, one crew, and one captain who believed that peace was always worth fighting for. Supreme Commander Vextar later wrote in his memoirs, "I came to destroy humanity and left understanding why they will inherit the stars. They fight like demons when threatened, but they love like angels when given the chance." I was speechless not because they defeated us, but because they showed us a better way to live. The USS Defiance had won more than a battle. They had won the future,